When you compare the way the First World War is seen in Britain to the way it's seen here, it's not seen here, it seems to me, as much of a watershed as it is. I mean, in Britain they see it as a real turning point. Doesn't really seem to be treated that way in the history.
Well, I think the problem here is that it's so bound up with so many other things. I mean, you know, yes, you have the war, but you also have the Home Rule Bill, the Ulster Crisis, the 1916 Rising. You know, in other words, I think to take the World War I out is almost impossible. But I think the other side is that what happened in terms of the Republican story, if you like, would not have happened in quite that way were it not for the war. I mean, there's no doubt that conscription was a major factor in giving a huge momentum to Sinn Féin. There's absolutely no doubt about that. The fact that, I think also the fact that the Irish Party it withdraws from Westminster is very, very important. The fact that they're not there when the Government of Ireland Act is being negotiated in 1920. There is no Irish nationalist voice in Westminster. All these things play in. The impact of the fact that you know, British politics, I think British politics is quite important. The fact that Asquith's rather languid government, you know, in 1915 gives way to a coalition government, which includes Carson, Redmond, I think probably made a mistake in not taking a seat in that. But all these things impact on Ireland. In other words, if you see Ulster Unionism as a serious problem, Ulster Unionism is now, and its supporters are now sitting in government in Britain. So all these things, so the war really does have a serious impact on what happens in Ireland.
And you could argue, I suppose, that the Rising may never have happened if there hadn't been a war.
Very possibly not, very possibly not. It certainly created this vacuum. Home Rule, for example, is out there. No, by 1916, nobody knows what's going to happen. You've got, as I've said, a government in Britain that is increasingly, that looks increasingly unsympathetic to Irish nationalism, and you can take it in that broad sense. So you can't really say in 1916 that there's going to be an immediate and reasonably satisfactory solution in the form of self-government.